Why do some buildings crack just after 1 year of construction? Here is the truth. A brand new building, fresh paint, everything is perfect, but after 1 year, building fails. It runs across the wall like a scar, and the owner asks himself this question that everyone asks. How? It's not even old yet. Here is the truth. The crack did not appear in 1 year. It was created during construction, and it simply took a year to show itself. In the next few minutes, you will learn exactly why some buildings crack so early, how to read a crack like a doctor reads an X-ray, and which cracks are harmless and the ones that are warnings. The first year is the year the building goes through its full test. It carries its full weight for the first time. Its concrete finishes drying and shrinking. It completes one full circle of rainy season and dry season. The soil beneath it settles under the new load. Anything that was done wrong, bad soil, bad concrete, bad detailing, will be revealed in the first 1 year. That is why we call it the confession year. The biggest cause of early cracking is the ground itself. Every building presses down the soil, and every soil compresses a little. That is normal. That is settlement. The danger is when one part of the building settles more than another part of the building. That is differential settlement, and it tears the building apart. Why does it happen? Often because nobody tested the soil. The foundation was placed on soft clay, on old refuse field, or right next to the drain that quietly washes away soil during rainy season. Then there is expansive clay. The soil swells when it soaks up rain and shrinks when the soil dries it. The building usually rises and falls with the seasons. After full wet and dry cycle, the soil gives up and crack. Diagonal cracks, often stepping through the mortar joints, running from the corners of windows and doors, and usually wider at one end. That crack points to where the movement is coming from. Concrete and mortar are not stable. They shrink as they dry over time. Concrete and mortar are not stable. They shrink as they dry for months after casting. If the shrinkage is restrained from the walls and columns around it, that shrinkage becomes tension, and concrete is weak in tension, so it cracks. Two mistakes makes this far worse. 1. Too much water. 2. No curing. Now let's talk about too much water. Workers add excess water to make the mix easier to pour, but every extra liter of water becomes an extra void when it evaporates, and a weaker, more shrink-prone concrete. Now let's talk about the curing. Concrete needs to stay wet for the first 7 days to gain its strength. Cast on Friday, forgotten on Sunday, baking under the sun on Monday. That slab is already cracked before it ever carries a load. Shrinkage cracks are usually fine, random, and web-like in nature. They are a warning about quality, not about collapse. Materials also expand in heat and contracts in cold. A roof slab, baking all day, expands and pushes against the wall below it, leaving a horizontal crack right under the roof. Long walls with no movement joints does the same thing. Then there is rust. When reinforcement is placed too close to the surface, no spacer blocks, no cover, then moisture reaches the steel. Steel rust, and rust expands several times more than its original volume. That pressure blows the concrete off from the inside. You will see cracks along the lines of the bars, then flaking, then exposed brown steel. And when two different materials meet, block work against concrete column, they move at different rates. Without proper ties or a joint, a neat vertical crack appears along that point. So how do you know if you should worry or not. When you notice hairline cracks on your wall thinner than a credit card edge, they are harmless. Cracks wider than about 5 millimeters, diagonal cracks from windows, columns, and doors corners. Cracks that goes through the block, not around it. Any crack in a column or in a beam, crack that you can see daylight, and any crack that is still growing. Here is the test that anyone can do. Mark both ends of the crack with a pencil. Write today's date. Photograph it and measure the width. Check again in 1 month. A crack that stops moving is history. A crack that keeps growing is a life problem. Call the structural engineer immediately. Almost every one of these cracks is preventable. And the funniest thing is that the prevention is cheaper than the repair. Test the soil before you design for your foundation. Every soil has its own specific foundation type, so don't build on a soil that has not been tested. Design for the soil you actually have, not the one you hoped for. Control the water in your concrete mix. Cure for a full 7 days. Use clean, silt-free sand. Use cover blocks so the steel is properly buried. Cover blocks are called concrete cover. Concrete cover is the distance between the steel and the concrete surface. Put movement joints in long walls. Add lintels in every opening. And keep water away from the foundation with good drainage and working gutters. Because a building does not crack out of nowhere. It cracks because something moves. The soil, the concrete, the steel, or the temperature. Cracks are not mysteries. They are messages. Learn to read them, and a building will tell you exactly what it needs before it has to shout. Follow me for more tips on construction. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you.